Yo, what's up everybody? Wacky night of NFL football yesterday, and I just have to come out here with a few comments to leave you guys with on my thoughts. So, obviously the biggest controversy of the day yesterday was between the Washington football team, or the Washington Redskins, whichever one you prefer to call them by, versus the Philadelphia Eagles. Alright, so this game was important for quite a few reasons. Well, first off, obviously playoff seeding. I mean, if Washington was able to win, they were in the playoffs. If Washington lost, then the New York Football Giants would be in the playoffs. So there was a lot on the line for both of those teams, and the Giants were basically just rooting for Philadelphia to pull off an upset, and they were just praying to God that somehow, some way, Jalen Hurts would pull a rabbit out of his hat, like he's done a few times this year, like against the Saints, and pull through and manage to get a W and help the Giants into the playoffs. So the football team obviously was probably scared heading into this game, but they didn't really have a reason to, and the football team ended up winning. The Washington football team, if you don't know what I'm saying, ended up winning 20-14, but that wasn't the big talking point of the day. So it was 17-14 at one point in the ball game with about 10 minutes left in the fourth quarter, and Jalen Hurts led the team down the field, and they're at the 5-yard line. It's a 4th and goal. And what Jalen Hurts and the Philadelphia Eagles decide to do is go for it on this 4th down instead of kicking a field goal to tie the ball game. And Jalen Hurts obviously wasn't able to convert. He tried to make a play. He tried to scramble out, do what he could, but he wasn't able to make the play. It was an incomplete turnover on downs. So Washington football team was still up by 3 with 10 minutes to go. And it kind of was a big momentum killer for the Eagles. So what the Eagles decided to do from that point was bench Jalen Hurts, who, by the way, has looked outstanding for a rookie this year. I'd argue to say that he's looking like Kyler Murray looked his rookie year, and I feel like if he keeps taking the steps forwards, Jalen Hurts, he keeps being able to develop, he could become a Kyler Murray type player. He has the explosiveness, he has the legs, he's got the arm strength. He just really needs to work on developing his QB skills and his mental skills. So a perfect time to do that would be a close fourth quarter game. But what Doug Pederson and the Eagles decided to do was, instead of worrying about the playoff positioning and worrying about how big a game was for these few teams still in the playoff race, he decided to bench Jalen Hurts for a third stringer named Nate Sudley, I think his name is. I don't know what his name is, but he was a bum, okay? This guy's a bum. He's been in the league about 6-7 years. He's a lost cause. He's a backup. He's going to be a career backup. He's never going to be anything better than that. He's going to be a backup quarterback at best. But Doug Pederson, being the unsportsmanlike coach that he is, decided to purposely tank, lose the game, put in Nate Sudley because they were playing so close, so they could lose, and instead of drafting at 9th in the NFL draft, they could draft at 6th. Now, this is a problem for a few reasons. I mean, if you just want to look at the NBA for an example, the NBA has about 10 teams every year tanking, and it's just not fun to watch NBA a lot of times because the bad teams are trying to lose, and it makes a lot of the regular season games just boring to watch. Like if you want to go and watch, like, let's say, the Brooklyn Nets this year, for example, taking on, well, I don't know what a bad team is, the Golden State Warriors. I mean, they got Curry, but they're still kind of a meddling, closer to the bottom hat tier of the league. They're probably going to be trying to tank this year, even though Curry had a great game yesterday. That's besides the point. What I'm trying to get at is tanking is not good for a sport. It's not fun for the spectators to watch. It's not fun for the players to be in. And Doug Pederson, by pulling Jalen Hurts, who is by all means looked like a great NFL quarterback, by doing that and purposely losing the game, it's just an unsportsmanlike thing to do to playoff teams. The New York Giants were obviously hoping that the Philadelphia Eagles would pull a rabbit out of their hat, and they were looking poised to do it. I mean, they could have tied the game with 10 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, and Washington only scored 3 more points the rest of the game. Jalen Hurts had 3 more drives. The Philadelphia Eagles had 3 more drives by the end of the game that Nate Sudley played. And Nate Sudley had fumble, interception, and I don't even know what the last possession was. It was embarrassing is what it was. So, I mean, obviously Jalen Hurts would have been better than Nate Sudley, and would he have won the game? I'd say, personally, I think that they would have won the game if Jalen Hurts was in there. But now, a lot of Giants fans are upset about the move, and frankly, I don't blame them. No disrespect to the Washington football team. They were who I was pulling for at the start of the game. I mean, I love Alex Smith. I love Ron Rivera. They're comeback team of the year. I really hope that they can get some magic in the playoffs because I feel like Alex Smith deserves it after all he's been through in his career. But I mean, what the Eagles did was just a disgrace. You can't just go out there and purposely lose a game, and I don't think that it's going to be worth it in the long run for moving up 3 spots in the NFL draft. I mean, you can take a look. I might put some videos up on the screen of what I'm talking about right now. The locker room is going to implode after this game. The Philadelphia Eagles, you're the biggest loser of the season for pulling this off. Jalen Hurts' confidence is probably destroyed. You can't just bench a rookie quarterback who's been playing out of his mind up to that point just because you want to get a worse spot in the draft. That's not how the NFL works. The players are not willing to just mail in a season, and by you just showing him that you'll just mail in the season, his confidence is absolutely destroyed. Secondly, the offensive line gave up. They gave up, and you could see they're sitting there on the sideline, and they're obviously frustrated because they know they can win the game. They know Jalen Hurts is their best chance of winning the game, but Doug Pederson just randomly chose, because he wants to lose, to put in their third string quarterback who gives them no chance at winning the game at all. So that's another problem with what he did. Like, you can't just do that and expect your team to keep fighting. No, your team's going to give up on you. Your team's going to question your leadership, and Doug Pederson's leadership is definitely in question in that locker room. Lastly, you can see that the defense was just absolutely frustrated. There's this one play where the defense jumped off sides, and you could see number 49 just screaming at his teammate.
Oh my gosh!
Look at that!
Oh my gosh!
Look at that!
I mean, the tempers were just building and building and building the entire game, and at some point you knew that it was just going to explode, and it's probably exploded in the locker room after the game. I've heard that a lot of NFL execs have been saying that it was an absolute disgrace. There's been word that in the locker room there was a lot of yelling and screaming after the game. I mean, you can't just do that to an NFL locker room and expect everything to be fine. So really all I wanted to say was that Giants probably got screwed. I mean, yes, they only won 6 games. They weren't going to win a playoff game anyways. But, I mean, it's still just a disrespectful and absolutely unsportsmanlike thing to do by the Philadelphia Eagles. And they should really be ashamed of themselves. And I hope to God if they're ever in a position where they need another team to play for them to get in, I hope that team just tanks. Just to give them the absolute biggest karma possible. And, yeah, that's about it. If you guys like and subscribe, I'd really appreciate it. See ya.